In this video, we're going to be replacing the vibration damper or the crankshaft pulley on this 2008 Acura MDX. You'll need to access it through your front passenger side wheel well. Alright, so we're going to take our serpentine belt tool and get on our tensioner. Alright, now that we're on that bolt, what we're going to do is push to the rear of the vehicle, and we're just releasing tension on our drive belt. And what we're going to do is take our drive belt off of the power steering pulley, but we're going to keep some upward tension on it. We're going to release our tool slowly. Okay. With upward tension on the belt, we're going to zip tie it and attach it to this bracket here so it stays on the rest of the pulleys and stays in place. Take our belt, zip tie. Just like that. Now we'll take our tool out. We're going to remove our wheel. Use a 22mm socket. Alright, so we're going to remove our splash shield. Ours is missing some clips. So what that's going to do is I can actually show you that one of these clips would be here, one of them would be here, and the one that we do have is right here. So we'll remove that with a panel tool. Those three clips would be holding in your splash shield up front here. There we go. Alright, so now you can see that your splash shield is free on the front. What we'll do is just tuck it back up inside there, so when we do get it free the rest of the way, it won't just fall right out. Alright, so we have 3 Phillips screws holding in our front mud guard. We're just going to take those out now. So in your front mud guard, this is actually as far as you need to go. You don't need to take the whole thing off. This splash shield is set in behind it. So now we can move up and take our panel clips out. We're going to try a pick tool and a panel clip tool to get these moving. Alright, so once you've got your last clip, there will be one more clip right here. Our vehicle came with a broken one, as you can see. So at this point, our splash shield is free. So what we can do is pull it out of the front that we rested it on and just let it rotate towards the front of the vehicle around the brakes and take it right out. So now we have access to our crankshaft pulley, aka our vibration dampener. What we're going to do is put our vibration damper tool on the damper itself. What we're going to do is just kind of tap it in there. Make sure it's set in evenly. Okay, we have a breaker bar just for leverage and extension to hold that in place. And we have a 19mm socket on an impact. We'll go ahead and back that bolt out in the center right now. All right, and what this tool does is just stops your damper from actually rotating as you're backing out that bolt. Here's the bolt we're taking out. All right, so at this point you can see our drive belt is loose, but it's still around. the pulley. So what we're going to do is just gently, and by gently I mean don't rip it off of there, because what you want is you want it to stay in the grooves and in place everywhere else. Just gently take it off of the damper, let the belt drop down, and in this case with this one, you just slide and rock that damper straight off. Like so. So we can take our crankshaft pulley or our vibration damper and sit it back into place. You'll notice that there is a slotted keyway and there are grooves inside here. You will have to clock this into position and just push straight back. We'll do that now. All right, so with our damper most of the way on, we're just going to give it a couple of taps with a dead blow rubber mallet, just to make sure we're seating it the best we can. Now what we can do, because we're here, is just slide the belt onto the grooves on the pulley. So what you want to do here before you reinstall your bolt, you want to make sure your threads are very clean. Make sure there's no debris or anything between the washer and the bolt head. You also want to apply some oil. I'm going to apply some oil right here between the head of the bolt and the washer. And right here as well. A couple of threads in, and make sure the rest of it's clean. So again, oil between here, oil after here, and the rest of it clean. All right, so now that we have our bolt oiled up and ready to go, we can thread it in by hand to start. And get this as far in as you can by hand. It'll make putting the tool on a little easier. Now back to our crankshaft pulley tool. Just set that into position. And our tool doesn't look like it's seated all the way in flat, so we'll just give this a couple of taps. That looks a little better. And with a 19mm socket, we'll go ahead and tighten that up. All right, now with our tool in place, a 19mm socket, we're going to torque this down to 47 foot-pounds. And this is where our tool comes in handy to stop the rotation of the pulley. All right, now our tool is up against the body of the vehicle, stopping the rotation. We can torque this down to 47 foot-pounds. All right, so we can reinstall our fender well liner. We're going to start with the back side. We're going to put it into and behind our mud guard, our mud flap. You can see that there are 3 areas, 1, 2, and 3, that will correspond with our Phillips screws we'll put back in. But for now, we're just going to rest this in place. And we can go to the front, and we can take this front piece here and sit it up inside the bumper to hold that in place as well. All right, now what you can do is pull your liner into position. Just find, what I like to do is find the topmost hole, put the clip in it. That way there you have it kind of held by the front, by the rear, and the top. Gives you full freedom to pull and shift in any direction you need to. Now I just start to work down one side. Put the clips back in. I'll put our clip in up top here. Follow that straight down. Our vehicle came in missing this clip, but we're going to replace one, which is potentially part of the reason why this was all torn up by the tire. Across the bottom here, we have one large clip. And it goes into the frame of the metal of the vehicle. Right there. All right, and we'll put one in the corner here as well. All right, now we can reinstall our mud flap, 3 screws. All right, final one back here in the corner. All right, so we're just gonna not torque these, but just tighten them up, and we'll come back and torque them. All right, so now we can torque down our lug nuts. We're gonna tighten them down to 94 foot-pounds. Again, we're gonna use a 22 millimeter socket for that. We're gonna do them in a crisscross pattern. All right, so now we're going to reinstall our drive belt back onto the power steering pulley. What we need to do is remove this zip tie. Before we do that, we're just going to take a look down below and make sure our belt is in the grooves and on the other pulleys that it needs to be on. Everything looks like it stayed in place. So we're going to cut the zip tie, keeping upward tension on the belt so it doesn't fall down. All right, the only thing I did just notice is our tensioner pulley. The belt did somewhat slide off of that, so we'll just push that back into place. All right. Now with that, pull our belt inward to the motor, take our serpentine tool, push rearward. And what we're going to do is slide our belt between the tool and the pulley. And we're actually going to work the belt on from the bottom of the power steering pump pulley. It's a little bit easier to work the bottom on first. All right, once everything looks like it's pretty well aligned, go ahead and release tension on your tensioner and your serpentine belt tool. Take it right out.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.